It's Sergeant Maria Solisar, SAP.
Are you a police officer in the state of Texas?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been?
15 years.
How many of those 15 years have you spent with the SAPD?
Correct. 17 years, 15 with SAPD.
Understood. What did you do the other 2 years?
UTSA.
Okay. So with the SAPD, what roles have you had?
Patrol officer, uniform detective investigator, investigator with traffic investigations, and currently sergeant.
All right. And how much of that time have you spent working traffic investigation?
5 years.
Over the course of those 5 years, approximately, how many serious motor vehicle collisions have you worked?
Well over 200,
How many of those have involved fatalities?
maybe about 85%.
Are you an expert in the field of crash reconstruction?
Yes.
What sort of training and experience do you have to make you an expert in that field?
I have the intermediate collision investigation course, the advanced collision investigation reconstruction course as well.
How many weeks is that intermediate course?
Intermediate is 1 week.
How about the advanced?
Advanced is 2 weeks.
Okay. What sort of functions does that expertise allow you to do?
It allows me to reconstruct the crash, pretty much gather evidence, roadway evidence, as well as vehicle evidence, put that together and determine one of the factors would be speed in a crash.
All right. Did you work a crash back on the 24th of March, 2022?
Yes.
Is that the crash we're here about today?
Yes.
All right. The theories, techniques, and procedures that's in the field of crash reconstruction accepted by the scientific forensic communities as accurate.
Yes.
Did you properly apply those theories, techniques, and procedures in this case?
Yes.
And once more, are you an expert in the field of crash reconstruction?
Yes.
All right. So once you got to the scene in this case, what did you do?
I walked the roadway first to determine what evidence was there, either tire marks, gouges, any vehicle debris that I might see. And then after I assessed where all that was, I went ahead and I started marking that with spray paint that we use so that when the photographs are taken, if they're visible within the photograph as well.
All right. After those photographs were taken, did you use any other equipment to map the scene?
Yes, I used a total station to gather points and then go back to the office and use that within a program to draw a diagram, a scale diagram of the crash scene.
All right. What is a likeness system?
It's pretty much a surveying equipment. So we will have a stationary base, and that is line of sight to a prism that I use to mark points as I go down the roadway.
Does the Leica stay stationary?
Yes.
And is this Leica system that you use capable of accurate measurements?
Yes.
We use that Leica system in this case.
Yes.
Does that Leica system generate what's called raw measurement data?
Yes.
Is that raw measurement data recorded?
Yes.
Does it also generate measurements?
Yes.
Are those measurements recorded?
Yes.
What do you do with that measurement data and those measurements?
Those are plugged into the software that we use. SAPD uses Trimble, and I will extract that and then plot the points, kind of connect the dots, if you will, for the same point, the same marking that I used.
Okay. And that Trimble system, does it generate an accurate diagram?
Yes.
That first witness. Only what I've marked states that it's one. Recognize this?
Yes.
What is it?
It's my diagram.
Okay. Would you look through every page of that? What are the first two pages?
The first two pages, well, the first one is an overall diagram of the crash scene, and the second one is a close-up of the final resting points.
What about the next two pages?
That is the raw data that comes from the handheld station from the Leica.
Okay, so is that generated by the system you have there on the tripod?
Yes.
How about the final two pages?
The measurement log is the coordinates for the actual point that I am plotting.
State off the state exhibit 1. Yes, sir. Hey, folks.
Yes. Do you have a statement 7 marked?
We do not, Your Honor.
Okay. Just making sure.
Putting up here the first page of states exhibit 1. And the points are marked. What road did this crash happen?
That's your road?
Based on the points you took, the diagram you were able to generate, what happened with this crash?
The vehicle was traveling westbound, lost control in the westbound lanes, veered across the eastbound lanes, struck a couple of posts, and then turned over and striking a tree. But also looks like got a area of impact that's listed on there as well near the posts. And then I have the final rest of the pedestrian that was struck next to the other tree.
Is that accurate? Is that a scale model of the scene of this wreck?
Yes.
With the data you're able to retrieve from the light device and the measurements you take using that data, are you able to calculate the speed that the vehicle was traveling prior to a wreck? How do you do that?
Based off of the tire marks, you take the average of the total length of the tire marks that are there, and then you put that measurement into a formula for speed.
Was that formula used in this case?
Yes.
Was it used initially by you?
No.
Who did the initial calculations?
Detective Captain Coffey?
Detective Pelkey is unable to be here today. Did I ask you to look over the calculations that she conducted in this case for accuracy?
Yes.
Did you do your own calculations using the information, the same data that Detective Pelkey had?
Yes.
What did Detective Pelkey calculate the speed of Bella Garza's car to be prior to the collision?
Minimum speed 51 miles per hour.
What makes you say minimum?
So when we do calculations, we calculate at the lower end of the drag factors and the tire marks to give the defendant the benefit of the doubt for speed. And so that is the minimum speed that we were able to calculate for the vehicle prior to impact.
Would it be fair to say that the vehicle could have been traveling faster than 50 miles?
Yes, it could have.
It's also fair to say that it's extremely unlikely for it to have been traveling any slower than 50.
Yes.
You testified that Detective Pelkey reached a minimum speed of 51 miles an hour. When you performed independent calculations, what was your conclusion as to the speed limit?
It's the same, 51 miles per hour.
Was Ms. Garza's car equipped with what's called a black box?
Yes.
And did Detective Pelkey retrieve that black box?
Yes, you did.
Did she extract the data from that?
Yes.
Have you reviewed that data?
Yes.
Is that data able to give any meaningful data related to this crash?
No, it was not. There were data limitations, and for the year of that vehicle, there was very little that was actually recorded for that event.
Can I go to witness time?
Yes.
Talk about something else. Tell me what I marked as State Exhibit 21. Can you tell the court what this document is?
This looks like a driving safety course that was taken.
Well, the entire document.
Oh,
Please look at the entire document.
this looks like a driving history.
Understood. Now, is this driving history created by the Texas Department of Public Safety?
Yes, it was.
Is this a certified document?
Yes, it is.
Please look at the back page. You see there some identifying information for the person who's driving history distance. What's that person's name?
Garza Belante,
Okay. What is the date of birth?
June 10th, 1998.
Is there a photograph included?
Yes, there is.
Is there a photograph here to be the defendant?
Yes.
State Officer State Exhibit 21.
Any objections to 21? 21 to that minute?
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
Let me direct your attention to the event history. Ms. Bellegarde, what is the first event listed by event history?
Event 1 is no motor vehicle liability insurance.
Describe without insurance.
Yes.
All right. The next two events appear to be from the same incident, different date, correct?
Yes.
What was that incident?
That was driving under the influence as a minor.
Okay. Second one?
It's administrative license revocation under 21 years when I guess the concentration is less than 0.08.
Okay. So, for an adult driving in the state of Texas, what is the legal blood alcohol concentration?
0.08.
For a minor, that is a person under the age of 21, what is the accepted legal blood alcohol concentration?
Take a low amount.
0. All right. That's you. Finally, what year was this defendant caught driving with the influence of alcohol as a minor?
2019.
That's the witness.
I understand that there was an award reviews for the one that was submitted marking June 28, 2022, is that correct?
I'm sorry, can we repeat that?
Was that, what was the date of that report that you were, was it released or?
That was April 12th, of 2022.
April 12, 2022?
Yes.
The you do a supplemental review report on June 28th?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Was there a supplemental report done after April 20th?
I did not do one of them.
Who's the lady about?
She was the lead investigator in this case?
Was she the person doing the calculations initially?
Yes.
Okay. So, did she do the calculations in that report herself, or
Yes,
did you do it?
she did her calculations and then I reviewed her calculations.
Are you the technical supervisor?
No.
Okay. Do you know if Detective Balky went to the scene and performed the measurements in order to do the calculations?
No, I did the measurements with the Leica and then she used the data from the Leica to calculate the measurements that she needed.
When did you initially do the calculations on the scene?
We didn't do the calculations on the scene. We took the measurements at the scene.
Okay, I'm sorry. When did you take the measurements of the scene?
That night when we responded to the crash scene?
On March 22nd?
In March, yes.
At night?
Yes.
Did you go back the next day to take that house?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you get enough light to review the skid marks across the three surfaces?
They were visible across the surfaces and that's what I marked, yes.
Okay. And what if anything, what were the assumptions that you or Detective Balky made in order to perform those calculations?
I'm sorry, what were the assumptions?
What were the assumptions that you or Detective Balky made to perform those calculations?
We use a formula that we learned in our Reconstruction courses that help us determine the speed.
Is that the S equals square root of 30 times F times T?
That is a speed calculation, yes.
Right. And that is done for each surface, is that correct?
That is,
Is that done for each surface?
yes, sir.
That the vehicle travel across?
Yes.
Okay. And, but did you use like a table of friction coefficients for each individual surface? Or did you perform the actual friction test to ascertain what those drag coefficients were?
A table, we use a published table, that is what we use, was what we use in the calculations.
So my question is, you assume that whatever factor was on the tables that you used pertain to the surface, such as asphalt on passing road at that time, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you also assume that the coefficient for the gravel or the sidewalk was a certain coefficient based on the table that you had.
Yes, sir. There's a range, a lower range and a higher range, and the lower range was used for the three surfaces, the asphalt, the concrete, and the grass.
But you did not actually did the calculations in order to ascertain the exact friction coefficient for that particular surface.
Right. The skid tests were not done that night for those surfaces.
Were they done any other night?
No,
Okay, they never were done.
no.
All right. Okay. But they could have been made, they could have been done, right? Is that correct?
So the asphalt could have been done, it would have been a little difficult to do it on the grass. We have to consider safety as well, because the distance that we have there, if we're going to do it at the same scene, as well as the concrete for the sidewalk.
Okay. But it involves pouring some sort of tool or object across the different surfaces for a given distance in order to generate that specific friction coefficient. Is that right?
We could use a drag sled or we could use a vehicle. In our practice, it's common for us to use vehicles with the equipment that we have.
So an actual vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but what if the vehicle was sideways? You can enter the vehicle sideways.
No, not the exact vehicle, a similar size vehicle.
But going sideways? Like, for example, with the, traveling not only on its wheel, but on its side.
So we take what we're trying to determine is the drag factor of the roadway, not the vehicle. So we do have different ranges. If the vehicle was, like you're saying, if it's sliding on its side, that's metal against asphalt, that would be a different range that we would use.
Okay. But you didn't do that on this section? Okay. Now, did you ascertain, as part of the calculation, what was the speed of the bicycle at the point of impact?
No, sir.
All right. Or what distance did it travel from the point of impact?
Not from the calculations of the vehicles. So when we're looking at the crash, whatever impact the bicycle would have had on the vehicle would have been negligible just because of the sheer size and the weight difference.
Okay, but so you did not calculate the distance the bicycle traveled at the point of impact of where it landed?
No, sir.
You don't know that distance, right?
Right, I was determining the calculations for the vehicle.
All right. And in your diagram, does it show the point of impact?
Yes, sir.
And is that in the point of impact on the grass or the sidewalk or on the crosswalk?
So it looks to be on the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk? Okay.
You're looking for AOI.
All right. Did you ascertain what were the lighting conditions that day?
Did I ascertain?
Ascertain the lighting conditions that day?
The roadway was lit with the street lights.
They were?
There were street lights, there were overhead street lights on that night.
Okay. Do you know the term perception reaction time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is there kind of like a standard you use for most people?
Yes.
Like, what is that?
2
I'm sorry?
2 seconds for your reaction.
The second reaction? Okay.
From the time that you perceive the object or the danger ahead of you.
Okay, so based on the reaction time, would Ms. Garza would have stopped in time had she been driving at the closest speed?
I didn't calculate that on there. I would have to get my table and paper.
What did you calculate?
I calculated the speed that Detective Coffey calculated with the tire marks and the distance traveled.
Okay, the question is, you did not calculate if she had enough time to stop?
I did not.
Now, what is your formula for stopping distance? Do you have one?
We do have one. I don't know what it is right now. I would have to do my
Does this sound good? Reaction distance plus braking distance is equal to stopping distance?
I would have to review, I'm not sure what you're looking at.
No, I mean, I'm asking, you are the expert, right? In doing these calculations, is that correct?
Yes,
So as an expert, I'm asking you if the stopping distance is equal to reaction distance from braking distance.
it could possibly be. I haven't done this work since 2022. This is one of the last cases that I worked.
What are you doing now?
Deployment personnel, sworn deployment personnel, so I do transfers
What other personnel? Like
for the department,
The Army?
for the department, for SAPD.
SAPD? Okay. Well, would you agree with me that there is a formula that can be applied to do that?
Yes, there is a formula.
Okay. But it wasn't done in this case?
Correct.
Okay. So you cannot say if these guards are here and you know, target reaction distance was given the calculations you made concerning the speed, right?
I cannot.
Okay. So based on the stopping distance and all that, is that something that needed to be done and calculated in order to know if these cars that was operating the vehicle at excessive speed or that?
Normally, I would calculate that if the vehicle struck something else in front of it and there was enough time for a normal person under normal conditions to perceive that and stop within time. This particular case, the vehicle, as you saw in the diagram, went clear across the other lanes into the grass area. Normally, I would not calculate that because it's not a direct road.
Or would that information be necessary in order to estimate if these cars that was operating the vehicle at excessive speed?
Where she was at? No, so my answer to that was I normally would calculate it if it happens right in front so they could perceive that, not if the vehicle was going off to the side. Normally, they would have lost control before that.
Well, but you will know that if you did not calculate it, right?
Right, and I didn't.
Okay. So the question is, was the collision avoidable?
Was this collision avoidable? In my opinion, yes.
Okay. Now, would you agree with me that reaction time varies from person to person?
Yes.
And within the same person from time to time? What?
Yes.
So if most people have a reaction time of 2 seconds, actually less than it was earlier, would a sober person have reacting in seconds or more than collision?
If they have, it depends on the person, like you said, it varies from person to person. And also at the time of day, if they're tired, if they're more alert, if they work a long shift, if they're in a rush, if they're distracted, there's other variables.
So even a sober person, given that the standard for most people is 2 seconds, a sober person could not have avoided the accident if she only had 1 second time frame to react. She couldn't avoid the accident.
Well, it also depends on the speed.
Well, yes. And like I said, the stopping distance and reaction distance was brake plus a formula. You know what the formula is?
I can't recall at this time.
Okay, 1.47 times the speed limit times the expiration time plus the square of the distance traveled divided by 30. That's something that we can recommend.
Some of you said yes.
All right. Do you understand, based on your testimony, when was the brakes first applied?
When were the brakes first applied?
According to the document.
After the railroad tracks, west of the railroad tracks.
Okay. Was that at the onset of the tire tracks?
So I will mark where I first see them, where they're first visibly notable, and that's where I mark them, and that's where they start. And we would box them in as the start of the tire marks. So I'm not sure what your question is
Well, my
regarding.
question is, when were the brakes first applied?
So I mark the tire marks, the data from the vehicle, we didn't get much of that, so I couldn't tell you at what point, the brakes were applied there.
Okay, so that's one part of the restricted manual, right?
Right, when the brakes were applied?
Because the tire marks is not a evidence of when the brakes were first applied, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you don't have information as to whether or not at a specific point was the glare on the road or high beams approaching the vehicle driven by Ms. Carson or anything like that? You don't have
I
that?
don't have that information. We just know that there were no defects in the roadway that would have caused that vehicle to swerve the way it did. There were no potholes, there was no debris, there was no construction in the roadway at that time.
Well, Fox Street at that point is not perfectly level, is it?
Right where the traffic kind of dips up when you're coming from east to west, there's a slight grade coming up to the railroad tracks, and then it levels out and it dips back down as you get to the road.
So it's kind of like a promontory on which the railroad tracks sit on top of it, right?
Where the railroad tracks are?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Did you know the car that is braking?
I'm sorry,
Do you know did you check the vehicle?
I did not.
Okay. So you don't have any information as to whether the vehicle was equipped with ABS braking?
I do not.
Okay. The brakes locked?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you check on that?
No, I looked at the data and there was nothing on there to indicate that the brakes were locked.
And when was the vehicle first starting to skid? Was it at the end of the asphalt, beginning of the sidewalk, or on the grassy road?
So I marked from the tire marks, those are the skid marks from where it starts, so it's in the asphalt.
The asphalt?
Yes.
Do you know what the impact speed was on the tree zone?
One more time, Tom?
Do you know what the impact speed was on the tree?
So we calculated a minimum speed to the impact. I cannot account for anything that, any of the speed that would cross after it struck the post. And the bicyclist before it struck the tree. The tree was not displayed, so I couldn't calculate anything past that.
extent of your involvement, just kind of generate some data and measurements for the speed calculations, you know?
Yes, sir.
Anything else that you need?
No, sir, all the interviews were conducted by the body.
Were you at the location at the time of the incident?
Yes, I responded to the scene with her.
Question?
Road traffic.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 20.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 20. We clearly see the vehicle, the this lane of travel, cut across two other lanes of travel and leave the road.
Yes, sir.
Is that avoidable?
That is avoidable.
Okay. You avoid it every day,
Yes,
every time you drive.
yes,
Now, earlier, a witness told one of the officers on the scene that this vehicle caught air after it passed the railroad tracks. Do you consider that a sign of excessive speed?
yes, sir.
All right. Do you happen to know the speed limit of Massey Road at this point?
I believe it's 30.
30 miles an hour. Remind us once again the minimum speed in the start of the traffic.
51 miles per hour.
Man. Now, the final thing I want to talk about, where we all brought up perception and reaction.
Yes, sir.
Tell me this, does a person's reaction time deteriorate when that person is under the influence of intoxicants?
Yes,
If, for example, that person had a blood alcohol of 0.152, would that reduce their reaction?
yes, it would.
Were you aware that that was Ms. Garza's blood alcohol level at the time of this crash? Were you aware also that she had alprazolam in her system? It's a common thing for exams, correct? Would that potentially negatively impact her reaction?
Yes.
Any further questions?
Thank you, Detective Owens. Clear next witness.
Mr. Jones, you can take the solid WC.
Yes.
State calls Emily. No.
Emily.
Leon. My apologies, Your Honor. That's Emily Waynes. 23, 22. I've shown you states exhibit 22. How does this is? Now you know it's the same.
The date.
Did you sign this?
Oh, yes.
Okay. When were these posted?
Says on there which time stamped. November 4th.
November 4th this year.
Yes.
How about the story?
That's all different types of, it's on this thing, on this,
So the one story.
right,
When was the story posted?
same day.
Same day. Robert states exhibits 22 and 23.
Because I'm not against the one, states exhibit 23, basis that, now you don't think it's going to be likely to show that a client, gave what it says exhibit 23, purports to show, and also, I don't know anything about states exhibit 22 concerning some Instagram account that even
Return, Your Honor. There's one more. The initial one is states exhibit 23. I'll show this to the court for consideration. I believe there's sufficient evidence to do this, what it is to this defendant, given the witness's familiarity with this offense.
Is that Instagram profile?
It is.
Is that a public profile?
what's that, John?
The handle on Instagram is that a public profile?
I'm not aware that she was in the person.
This is about this is important. It's in the on Instagram search. She's not found.
Well, in that
I
case,
can't say the same for
so that she's not, this witness is going to probably be responsible for that. She has to be.
Yes, I agree on 22. I'm sorry, 23. We have another sponsoring witness that was able to retrieve that because it's a public profile. I'll admit it at that point. At 22, I'm going to sustain the objection until it's properly authenticated.
All right. Talk about your son. How many children did you have?
I told them for
And what are their names?
Haley, Emilion, Jacob,
Was Emilion the middle child?
yeah,
When was he born?
11/13/03.
And what was he like?
He was a very gentle, caring, loving, giving young man. Never got in trouble, didn't even have, never been arrested, anything. He was going to school and even earning college credits while he was going to high school.
Okay. And he graduated high school by March of 2022?
He was supposed to, but he passed before then, before then. So I had to go to his graduation and see a picture of him up there. No child.
When was his graduation going to be?
That, can't remember what day it was supposed to be.
Past spring?
That spring, yes. And then they had the whole ceremony. I just was unable to sit through the whole thing because I felt like I was taking away from other people's celebrations because I couldn't stop crying.
Was Emilion working?
Yes, it was.
Where was he working?
He had chains.
What did he do with BF James?
He was a busboy. His older sister got him a job because she was working as a line cook in the back, so they were able to work together.
What did Emilion want to do after he graduated high school?
He wanted to either be in a SWAT or an officer of some sort. He did ROTC, and he took a class or two for the academy. And that's what he wanted to do when he got out of school.
Police Academy?
So,
Okay. When did you find out your son had been killed?
I want to say 2 hours after he didn't show up from work.
Or was he living with you at the time?
No, he wasn't living with me. I was out of town, waiting for him to graduate, going back and forth between here and Midland,
Who was he living with?
his girlfriend.
Who told you that he'd been killed?
She called and said that he hadn't shown up yet, and that was not like him at all. He'd never been even 15 minutes late. So I knew something was wrong, but because they couldn't identify him by looking at him, I had to drive all the way down here from Midland, not knowing for sure if it was my boy or not. And they refused to tell me. All we could do was call the hospital. And I just pray that it wasn't him. Because by the time we had friends go look at the scene, he was picked up already. But when I finally did get here, he was so badly broken that I had to do DNA to prove that it wasn't my son.
Who eventually confirmed it for you and contacted you to do that DNA?
I can't remember right now. Bear County medical examiner, I believe. I can't remember right now. My husband had to help me through it. I'm still kind of in denial, so.
Were you able to hold a funeral for your son?
I had a small, just a little service to celebrate his life. I had to have him cremated because it wasn't an option.
How was the loss of Emilion affected you over these last 2 years?
Enormously, have epilepsy, and I've had to increase my medicine because I've had more seizures since it's happened. It's a battle every day for me to get out of bed. Sometimes I just don't want to even breathe anymore because sometimes it feels like it's easier just to go with him. But I fight every day to get up. I have 2 other kids I gotta worry about.
How has the loss of their brother affected them?
His 10-year-old brother, he's 10 now. Very angry, doesn't understand why this has happened, and there's no explanation that anybody can give. He's willing to understand or accept. He's mad, he's in trouble in school a lot. He's got serious anger issues. I've taken him to counseling for it now. My daughter is 25. He didn't get to see her baby firstborn. I mean, he has missed so much. Everybody is still in shock. It doesn't even feel like it's real, especially because nobody's got to see him physically to say goodbye.
You've been here in this courtroom for every setting in this case.
prisoner for 2 years.
Why has it been important to you to be here every day?
Because I want the court, everybody to know that he matters. He matters, his life matters, and I want everybody to know it, and I'll be here every day. I'll be at every probation hearing. I will make sure that I'm at everything. I'll live and we drive over 5.5 hours just to come to court, just to go back, because my husband has work the other day. It doesn't matter, snow, sleet, it doesn't matter. I will be here because I want to prove that he was loved and he mattered, and she took it away from us.
Is there anything else that you want this court to know before she sentences you?
I want the court to know that she is very remorseless, to laugh and to joke and to giggle, and then to post it as well. On top of that, to taunt my family. That's evil. That is pure freaking evil. She doesn't deserve to be out at all. She doesn't even know, she's not even comprehending what she's done. She's in denial of herself.
That's the way it is.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons, you may step down. Call your next witness.
State House of Chavez.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? You may proceed.
Chavez, would you please introduce yourself to the court and let the court reporter know how to spell your name?
Serena Chavez,
How do you spell that first name?
S-E-R-E-N-A,
Chavez like normal?
S-C-H-A-V-E-Z.
Okay. Are you familiar with an individual by the name of Bella De Garza?
Yes.
See her in court today?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with her presence on social media sites?
Yes, sir.
Familiar with her Instagram?
Yes, sir.
How did you become familiar with her Instagram?
On Instagram, you can see like the explore page and like people you may know. I was just looking at stories, and then one day she messaged me and followed me on Instagram.
She messaged you.
Yes, sir.
When did that?
I believe it was May 16th.
What year?
Just past.
This one?
Yes.
So 2024?
Yes, sir.
So do you know for a fact that a certain profile belongs to this defendant?
Yes, sir.
Approach the witness.
Yes.
Show you two items. First, that mark states exhibit 23. Recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Who posted that?
Bella did.
How do you know?
It's her Instagram, and then she's posting other stories that she's actively posting.
Okay. Now, when Bella posts a story, who is able to see?
Everyone, if it's posted on the story, if it's posted a picture, if she's public, everyone, if she's private, then only the people who are public.
Photograph that states exhibit 23. Now post. Do you know if that was public or private?
That one was public. That is on her story.
Okay. You see the contents of states exhibit 22?
What's on that video? Just a lot of the stories that I think. Yes, yes.
That story, that most recent that you sent to this office, which is taken on stage exhibit 22, is that a public or a private post? Read off your stage exhibit 22 and 23.
I think this witness on what year?
Yes, sir.
And then, how long have you been on Instagram?
Since I turned 13.
And how old are you now?
I am 22.
So, basically, 9 years ago?
Yeah, pretty much whenever I was of legal age to have a social media.
Okay, so you've been on Instagram since you were not the legal age?
I believe it used to be 13 was the legal age to be on
So
social
you
media.
believe, are you an expert on Instagram?
No, sir.
The relevance is my question.
It is relevant. Now, concerning,
Well, I'd like to rule on it,
outbreak.
if that's okay with everyone.
I'm sorry.
Overruled.
Concerning the state's exhibit number 23, do you have any idea when that was actually, that picture was actually posted?
Excuse me?
Do you know the date when that was actually posted?
Not by memory, but I can pull it up.
Well, you don't know the date at this point, right?
No, sir, but all on pictures they have.
You do not know the date, right?
No, sir, not by memory.
All right. Now, do you know who actually loaded off that picture?
I believe it was Bella.
No, I'm not asking you what you believe. Do you know who loaded off the picture?
No, sir,
Okay.
not by that.
All right. Now, was she did Ms. Garza or someone named Garza, did she befriended you?
We were never friends. She followed me on social media.
She what?
She followed me on social media.
Did you follow her?
I followed her back after she followed me, yes, sir. That's how social media works.
When did that happen?
I believe the day she messaged me, so May 16th.
May 16th? Okay. But you don't have any idea who made this up? The state's exhibit number 23.
Actually, Rehabilitation.
Sustained.
Now concerning, State's Exhibit number 22, did you actually download that, the pictures contained in the State's Exhibit 22?
Yes, I'm the one who took the picture of my phone and her social media.
You were the one that took the picture. Is there a picture or video in the State's Exhibit number 22?
There's video and pictures.
Okay, and did you get permission from anybody to do that?
Social media is social media. It's everywhere. So I don't
Well,
believe that you need
there's-
social media to take a screenshot.
There's privacy, private information and public information.
Yes, sir, but if anyone can see her story, then that is not private information.
Well, okay, and what, was it loaded on his private information?
No, sir, it was on her public story.
And who took the actual video of what's in the State's Exhibit number 22? Not asking you what you recorded,
Right.
the original video.
I'm the one who took that original video.
I'm sorry?
The picture that you see in the video that you're holding, I'm the one who did that.
This is a video of the video, right?
No, sir. I have my phone and I have my other phone that I'm recording off of. They're
Right.
both my phones.
And the question is, this is a video of you taking another video from another telephone?
No, sir, it's a video of me taking a recording of her social media, is what the video is. So it's not recording a record, it's recording her story.
Right, you are videotaping somebody else's recording, is that right?
I'm videotaping her recording.
Somebody else's, not yours, somebody else's recording.
I don't know what you're asking.
This is the video which is reported to be represented in the State's Exhibit number 27. You did not produce the actual video yourself.
Yes, sir, I did.
The recording of a recording, is that right?
I don't know what recording of a recording that you're talking about. The video that you have is a video of me scrolling on my phone and her social media.
I'm going to object, Your Honor. This is not properly authenticated and it is hearsay and,
No, sir, I just don't think you're asking.
Hang on, I got this. Finish your objection.
that's all I was going to say.
The objection is overruled. States 22 and 23 are admitted.
May I publish these exhibits? Now, State's Exhibit 23. Try to stand here. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Whose name appears right there at the top of the story?
Bella Day.
Appears to be a court document.
Yes, sir.
Appears to be a court document. This court.
Yes, sir.
What Ms. Garza say about her setting in this court?
She said going to prison next month, see y'all never.
All right. State's Exhibit 22. Before I start, this is
Bella Day's Instagram story. Yes, sir.
This one, Emily posted the extended cuts that she did
Yes, sir.
on November 4th.
Yes, sir.
Was it the same day?
Yes, sir.
Stop it right here. Spell card, I think. You see ground right here.
That's a bottle of Malibu.
Other question?
Cross.
No motion.
Say, I think you missed it.
This is speech, Honor to say yes.
Defense, do you wish to make an opening statement?
Your Honor, I will make a brief statement. This we're going to present evidence that this has a very supportive family. There's no, beyond the minor, use of alcohol by a minor, there's never been in trouble. She's been employed, she's raising a child, she has a history of depression, she has a drinking problem, that she recognizes, she accepts responsibility for what she did, she feels remorse for what she did, and she will address those feelings. And then as the court to grant her probation so that she can move forward with her life. And she recognizes what she did and requirements.
Five persons.
We're going to call Crystal Mendoza.
Where is she? Crystal Mendoza.
Crystal.
Crystal Mendoza.
Ms. Mendoza, how are you related to Bella?
I'm Bella's aunt.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse practitioner, but I'm currently working as a nurse.
And how long have you known Bella?
All her life.
And she's, how old is she now?
Let's see.
26?
She is, my daughter's 26.
And you've known her throughout her entire life?
Yes.
Now, you understand why we're here today.
I do.
There was an accident, a young man was killed. And Bella was intoxicated, correct?
Yes.
You know that?
That is what it, yes, that's what I've heard, yes.
And so, we're here to determine her punishment. Knowing that, let me ask you, I want to start by talking about Bella before the accident. If I were to ask you, in say one word, how would you characterize Bella's personality before the accident?
A lot of words come to mind, but she's always been caring and respectful.
And do you have children?
I do. 3 children. 3 children.
And has Bella been part of your children's family as well?
Yes, I have a daughter that's 1 year younger, and so they grew up together. And then I have 2 other kiddos as well as, goes to their performances, and she's very involved and supportive of my kids and my family.
And how often do you see Bella normally before the accident?
It varies, but maybe once every 2 months, or if there's more occasions, like during the holidays, more frequently.
And would you hear things about Bella, what she was doing from other people?
No, I mean, I wouldn't hear anything. I would talk to Bella every time we interacted. It was positive. We would talk about what she had plans to do.
What did she tell you about her plans?
She's always wanted to be a nurse.
You know if she was doing anything to try to make that happen?
We would talk, and she had always wanted to finish her schooling, and so we would talk about setting a date, and what she
And
said
did
she
you
was
ever
working on.
see her with her child Dory?
Oh, yes.
How would you characterize her relationship with Dory?
She's very caring. So I'm a pediatric ICU nurse, and I do family practice. But if we went out to eat, she's very caring. He's always well dressed. She makes sure he's fed and well taken care of.
Did you know whether or not Bella had any problems with depression before the accident? Was she having issues?
There was definitely, before you said, or after? I'm sorry.
Before.
Before. I personally did not see any signs before the accident.
And no one mentioned anything about that, did you?
I didn't hear anything.
Now, how did you hear about the accident?
My mother told me.
And what was your reaction?
I was shocked and disbelief.
Is it something that seemed out of character for Bella as far as her being involved in such an accident?
I did not expect something like that to happen.
And did you see Bella after the accident?
I didn't see her right after. I did talk to her family, and she didn't want to talk at that time. I respected her space. I think she was very upset by everything, and so I did not talk to her right after.
Have you talked to her about it since?
Yeah, yes.
And what did she tell you about her reaction to the accident?
She's so she went through a few stages. I feel like initially she was, very sad and She didn't want to talk about things. But then she started going to school. She started looking back up. I think she started going to church. She more interactive with the family. And so she was more positive and thinking about schooling, and she did, and she finished, and she was excited to tell me about that and all the changes she has made recently.
Are you aware, one way or the other, whether she was drinking after the accident?
She was not drinking. I know we had discussed that she was on the right track and she was doing really good, so I know she was not initially. Right.
Now, you understand that the judge is going to is going to be determining her punishment today. And that she was intoxicated then when this accident happened. From your experience with Bella, can she follow the rules of probation?
Yes. Yes. She, like I said, we had discussed the, like when, you know, I've been in contact with her family, she was on, yes, a very good track. I know she can do it. Yeah.
Is that based on your past experience with it?
Yes.
Has she ever done anything like this before?
No, not that I.
And to your knowledge, you said that she was going to school. Did she graduate from school?
Yes, she got her GED from her school, and then she went on to get her medical assistant.
You know when she got the medical assistant?
Where did she got it?
When she got it?
When she got it, kind of like a dates, maybe, was it August? It was sometime around there.
Was it recently?
Yeah, this year it is.
This year? And did she then try to go to work?
Yes, she was asking me about positions, so yes, I was looking for her.
President,
You said that Bella was not drinking on pretrial release initially. Is that the word you used?
Yeah, well, yes, I said initially.
Okay. She didn't start drinking.
I only know when I guess there was a date where she came in, maybe, I don't know.
So you did know that she had some pretrial violations of her requirement not to drink.
Yes.
She had 5.
I didn't know about 5.
One of them had a red AC of .108.
I was not aware of that one.
Good question, Your Honor.
one second, go. Are you aware of the fact that your violation, first violation of drinking was in March 24, 2024?
No.
So you don't know whether, but from what your observation, you didn't see her drinking before that.
Correct.
President.
Thank you, Mary, Ms. Becker. Call your next witness.
Yeah, the next witness is Frank
Frank Luque.
Duque. state your name, please?
Frank Duque,
And what is your relationship with Bella Rose?
her cousin.
And can you tell the court what kind of work you do now?
I'm a canine training instructor for Homeland Security on Laughlin Air Force Base.
And prior to that, where were you employed?
I was doing working bomb dogs overseas for contracting companies, and then before that I was a Marine for 5 years.
5 years in the Marine Corps?
Yes, sir.
And how long have you known Bella?
My whole life. So 32 years.
So she's 26, so you've known her since she was born.
Yes, sir.
And have you had like regular contact with her? In other words, you see her fairly often?
Pretty often, yes, sir. Whenever after I graduated high school, I spent my time in the Marine Corps. I was gone for quite a while, but when I come home, we get together as a family and spend time together as much as we could.
Sure. You have children?
Yes, sir.
Now, you understand why we're here?
Yes.
That there was an accident, Bella caused the accident, she was intoxicated, and someone died, a young man died.
Yes, sir.
She is going to be punished today. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about your relationship with Bella, or how Bella acted before she had this accident.
Okay.
You know, was Bella employed, to your knowledge, before the accident?
Before the accident?
Yeah.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Did you ever, she had a child, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that child, did you see her and the child together?
All the time. Anytime I saw her or got time to go visit her, he was there.
How does Bella react to other members of the family?
She's always been very loving and, just always caring, and she's always just had a big love for her family. Unlike the other side of my family, this part of my family is very close. Anytime we have, birthday parties, Thanksgiving, things like that, everybody's always together. So, she was brought up that way, just always being around family and, everybody just being really close to each other.
Did you ever have any inclination or knowledge that she was suffering from any kind of depression or anxiety?
No, sir.
After the accident, did you discover that she was suffering from depression and anxiety?
I've heard, yes, sir.
Have you talked to her about that?
Unfortunately, not had the opportunity to have a real deep discussion about it, but there's been small ones here and there, not so in depth, but enough to understand that she's going through it.
Did you see a change in Bella after the accident? How she was behaving before the accident?
Absolutely, yes, sir. I guess the two biggest times I've ever seen a real change in Bella's character would be the first time whenever she had her son Dorian, and you can see that her life was definitely changed in a good way. And then after the accident, another huge change in character. Very hurt, bothered, grief-stricken. You could see it on her face anytime you talk to her or try to. Anytime it comes up in conversation, you can tell that it's tough thing to talk about or even get near that subject, as it would be for anybody, obviously.
She was pretty remote from you after the accident. You knew herself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was not the way she did before?
No, sir.
Now, has Bella ever done anything like this in the past?
No, sir.
Were you aware that she had a drinking problem?
No. I wouldn't say a problem, like coming from someone who also drinks. I guess it'd be hard to say that I call it a problem. I grew up, just being openly honest here, drinking from a young age as well, so it's hard for me to, I guess, understand what you would say is a drinking problem.
Well, if you have an accident and cause someone's death from intoxication, that might characterize a problem.
Yes,
Do you agree?
I agree. Yes, sir.
And do people, from your experience having drinking issues yourself, do sometimes people drink to medicate, in a sense, to deaden the feelings they have inside?
Alcohol is definitely an easy escape from any sort of feelings that you're having that you don't want to be having. So yes, I would agree. It's the easy out. I agree. It's definitely an easy out.
Were you aware of the fact that after the accident, CPS was involved in the case?
Not exactly, but I would have assumed so, given the circumstances.
You don't have any knowledge of what Bella did in regards to treatment after the accident?
No, sir.
Based on your lifetime of experience with Bella, can Bella follow the directives of the court was to grant her probation?
Can you repeat that?
Can Bella do what she's supposed to do on probation if she was given probation?
I believe so, yes, sir. Like I said, this is the second biggest change we've ever seen with her. It's something that she's not taking lightly, and I think she's definitely got a better understanding of that she needs to not take life for granted.
Do you think that society would be better off if she was in prison or if she was rehabilitated?
Definitely rehabilitated. I know it's probably already been said before, but she's already made steps towards at least trying to better her life, going to school, getting her medical assistant certificate. I mean, she's taking steps in the right direction. I mean, I don't doubt that she would continue to do that.
President. No question.
I think he's ready to step down. Our next witness.
We're going to call Florence Puente.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you state your name, please?
Florence Lopez?
And you are, how are you related to Bella?
I'm her mom.
I want to talk to you about Bella before the accident a little bit. Can you describe to the court Bella's upbringing, how she was raised?
So she was raised by me Me and her dad split up when she was about 3. So she would go see him, but she lived with me.
And she lived with you, and anyone else, or just you?
Just me until I met my current husband. She was about 5, 6 years old. And then we all lived together.
And you say we all live together, how many people are in the family, or are in the family?
So it was 3 of us at that time, but now I have 2 other daughters, and then my grandson lives with us.
And how would you characterize your family? Is it a close family?
Yes.
And what role did Bella play in your family?
So she's a loving sister, a loving daughter. She takes care of my children if I need her. So, I mean, before all this happened, when she was able to drive, she would pick up my daughter from school when she was sick, stuff like that.
Now, you understand why we're here.
Yes,
Bella committed a crime
she did.
involving intoxication and the death of a young man, and she's asking for probation. And they had to judge with the son, correct?
Yes,
Now, Bella has a child named Dory, right?
yes, my grandson.
And how important would you say is Bella's relationship with Dory?
It's very important. He loves her, like he follows her around. He needs her. As soon as he wakes up in the morning, he cries for her. I see them walking around, he's just following her like little ducklings. So she's very involved in his life.
Now, before the accident, Bella had some history of depression and anxiety, correct?
Yes,
And she had received some treatment for that, is that correct?
yes, she was.
But that treatment was not continuing.
Correctly, yes, it expired. Like her prescriptions expired, but she was taking depression and anxiety medication.
Okay. And how young was she when she first was diagnosed with this problem?
So she would see counselors. I want to say she was a teenager. In high school, I don't know, maybe, I can't give you the exact age because I couldn't find the paperwork, but I think it started when she was about maybe 15 years old.
And was there a period that she was taking non-prescription drugs to deal with her anxiety? You knew of?
Yes.
And how would she get them? You know?
That I have no idea. Maybe friends. They weren't persuaded.
Right. And did you talk to her about those things?
All the time.
What would you say?
Because her mood had mood swings.
But in spite of those things, was she working?
Are you talking about before? Or
Yes,
after?
before.
Was she working employment?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Did she ever have a job before the accident?
Yes, she did. Let me see. Her first job, she was working at an auto dealership. I want to say.
How long did she work there?
Maybe a good year. She was able to file her taxes, so I had to.
And she would live with, but she lived with, she got involved with a gentleman named Marcos Alvarez.
No, Alvarado.
Alvarado. And Marcos Alvarado was the father of the girl, correct?
Yes.
And so at some point, did she live with Marcos?
Yes.
And she lived with Marcos up until when?
They were on and off. So I want to say when my grandson was born, they were living together.
Grandson named Dory.
Yes.
Now, how did you hear about the accident?
I saw it on the news.
And following the accident, did you have a time you talked to Bella about what happened?
Not at all.
Have you talked to her since about what happened?
Like about how she's feeling or,
How she's feeling and how she is reacting to the accident?
well, she's not dealing with it well. She does have good days and bad days.
When you say she's not dealing with it well, what do you mean?
She has several anxiety attacks a day.
And how are those anxiety attacks manifest? What happens?
Stress triggers it, or just, thinking about everything that's happened, taking the life of somebody, for
Has she
having
told
to deal
you?
with everything.
Go ahead, finish your answer.
No, that's fine.
Has she ever expressed to you her feelings about taking the life of the young man?
Yes.
What has she told you?
She just, cries about it, tells me that I don't understand how she feels when I try to confront her. Like say I notice, like I can tell, like if she had taken something, because I can tell the way she acts, like she's aggressive. And then I confront her, like, why are you doing this? And she says that I don't know how it feels to take the life of somebody, and then I just like back off.
So she told you that you don't know how it feels to take a life of someone.
Right.
Has she ever said anything that you regard as remorse or sorry for what happened?
Yes, all the time.
All the time?
Yeah, so she'll shut herself in her room and close the door.
Has she ever verbally told you that she's sorry for what happened?
Yes.
And you've heard, well, I do, I see her outside, but there's been testimony that she was drinking after the accident. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
And how did you become aware of that?
So she has a curfew. She has to be home or before everything, before all the violations. She has to be home by 8 p.m. And if she came home, like I could tell, like she had to stay there, so I could tell, if she had been drinking or not. And I'm always like on her, did you use your breathalyzer? Always making, trying to make sure that she doesn't miss the time. But, when I go in there and I have seen, did see when she was intoxicated.
Did you ask her why she was drinking when she was?
It just seemed like she had given up with all as we were getting closer to the date, because she was doing well, she was doing really good. Just all of a sudden, when we started getting closer to the date, she just felt like that was it, like her life was over, she was going to do her sentence.
And so from your observation, this giving up period was recent, fairly recent.
Yes. Yes, because she had been doing good. She was going to school, got a job, but then all the court hearings and the resets, and she lost her job, and then that was it. Like she just went down.
Now, in November, something happened with Marcus, correct?
Yes.
What happened with Marcus?
So when, I think he just took it really hard that Bella went to jail, and he thought that was it, it was over. He was drinking himself, taking drugs, and then he was in a fatal car accident himself.
So Marcos was killed in a car accident,
Yes.
and that was in November.
Yes.
How did Bella react to that?
She just couldn't believe it. She was in denial. She's like, why? And just thinking it was her fault. Like karma. That's what she had done.
So, these two deaths had an effect on her.
Yes.
By the way, was CPS involved in the case?
They were in the beginning, but then Bella had completed all the courses that they wanted her to take. They saw that she was a good mother, so they dismissed it. Or it was dismissed.
And in the course of that, did she take classes?
Yes.
You know what kind of classes she took?
There was one for a drug, because I know there were drugs in her system, so she did take a class for something with the drugs, and then another one, a parenting class.
Do you have any doubt that she would follow through on any classes or rehabilitation that the court would offer?
No, I mean, if given the chance, she'll do anything she can just to be with her grandson. I know that.
Do you think that she could succeed on probation in spite of the fact that she's had these problems on pretrial release?
I know she'll do better. She'll, if given the chance, she'll show you that she can succeed.
Do you think that rehabilitation is a better choice than prison in this case?
Definitely.
Tesla.
Testified that Marcos was involved in intoxication crash that resulted in accident.
Yes.
Was that a single vehicle collision?
No,
He did something.
he did something.
What happened to that?
So all I know from the news article that his mom sent me, it said, so I don't know, but it just, what I read in the article said that the person went to the hospital with severe injuries but not life-threatening. But it was just one person that I read in the article besides Marcos.
Testified that prior to this event, Bella would take non-prescription drugs, right?
Xanax. Well, that's what I think it was. I have no idea.
So she never had a prescription for alcohol?
She, is that Xanax?
Yes.
Okay, no, never. She had prescriptions for other things, but never Xanax.
Not for example.
Yeah, they would never give, they told her they would never give it to somebody as young as she was, when she was younger. They didn't do that.
When Kimber was talking about how she was feeling, they say sometimes her personality would change. You would suspect she's taking something.
Yes.
What kind of things were you suspicious she was taking?
Her manner, I can tell, like when she would speak to me, it was kind of like a little bit.
I'm going to check. I don't think that's responsible.
I think that's clarified. What did you think she was taking?
So when she told me, she was taking Xanax.
Okay.
So that's what, I have no idea, I don't do drugs, I don't know effects or how people act, I just know she had mood swings.
Bella told you that she has been taking Xanax
Yes,
while she's been on pretrial.
correct,
On call.
right,
She still doesn't have a prescription.
correct.
Where's she getting?
Marcos,
She got it from Marcos.
yes.
She get it from money of her other friends?
I have no idea, she doesn't hang out with anybody, so. I mean, if she did, maybe she called somebody, but I don't know.
When Bella went to jail recently for those violations, who took care of Dory?
Me,
If she went to jail or prison as a result of this crime, the judge were to sentence her to prison. You take Dory?
yes,
I'm sure you got a lot of home.
me and Marcos' mom,
All together to make sure that Dory was taken care of.
yes.
Do you think that you are able to take the place of Bella and Dory's life?
No, no one is able to take the place of the mother.
I have to ask you, the first time across, has Bella been receiving any type of counseling services?
When? Ever?
No, while she's been on.
Well, she's been on bond. We tried going to the Center for Healthcare Services, but we never, something happened that we didn't follow through.
Okay.
So no.
After that first attempt, you never tried to get her back?
You know what, as far as counseling, like the one that was giving her the medication for depression and anxiety, it wasn't actually just her regular doctor. Her primary physician.
Primary care.
Yes, that one.
When did she stop seeing that?
It's been a few months, maybe even a year. I don't have an exact date.
She never went to a specialist other than that anxiety condition?
No.
She did that self-care?
Yes.
Thank you, Member Lisa. You have another witness, right?
Just, no.
Okay, let's go ahead and take an afternoon break from the court reporter, 15 minutes.
I don't know. I quite interesting. It's like, what do we need to buy? No, my and so he was like, okay, well, we said to go at 5. Yeah, I'll text you right now.
Make sure it's put in there. VOB or whatever it is. Even if it's a VOB, sometimes that will be a sentence package. And the editor really don't, it's big to read it out.
Yeah.
It's just the whole section. You want to find that stop right now? Just send it back to editors?
See, I don't know if you have me at 6 and I write something for 10 because I would want that I'm gonna
We court-selling it.
send them that.
You're in picture.
Yeah, that's true.
Guaranteed.
I do. It's just a lot of stuff.
The closet. Civil and criminal. It's very different. Yeah, I can see this movie. When they're getting a feature. When they get over, we're gonna have a practice for all the court reporters, so we can kind of get a feel for how we can improve cases. You've been looking at your records, the links, the documents there. So we need to, and it's just, we need to hire more people, there's not enough, there's more people to evaluate. And I think we need to, forever.
This was like in the 80s. Shows it's really different. Whenever you got, you know, this, we call it scooter in front of you, just to keep it. This is like somebody looking after somebody in public and bringing it up.
I saw 1,500.
Very difficult.
Whose case that? You were here earlier, Kitty?
No.
Okay. Have y'all been live streaming this whole time?
Yes.
Since morning?
Yes.
Okay. Y'all need to kind of let us know that you guys are live streaming. Because I wasn't aware of it.
Well, actually,
I believe he mentioned it, but usually what's his name comes in and runs wires and lines.
Missy L?
Yeah, Missy L comes in, and then he tells us personally.
I'm not 100% we're streaming. We're just streaming back to our station so they can register.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube right now?
Yeah, that's how my judge is notifying me that, hey, nobody asked me about live streaming and nobody requested to live stream. And there's a notice on the outside of the door saying, before you live stream, you need to ask permission.
So let
You need to let the board know.
let me just double check.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what's her name asked me something about streaming?
Daniela?
If it was okay or something. But again, we're used to him setting up the wiring.
He's usually
and then tells us, hey, we're gonna live stream.
the courtroom guy.
Are we able to?
You have to ask permission.
Can I go ask? Or?
Why, are you live streaming too, or?
No. But I would, if they're going to call the defendant as a witness, I think we would like to.
Yeah, you might want to ask her, but there's a form outside on our door saying what the rules are for live streaming.
Okay, no, but we're not live streaming
And
at all.
obviously, you're not a regular here in our courthouse.
Do I have to, do I need to talk to someone or fill out something?
Again, it's that memo is right on the door.
So I stop streaming?
She just told me, hey, Charles, nobody asked us to live stream.
I think,
Like, and again, if she was asking permission, I didn't understand her because we're used to somebody coming.
I can stop, I just need to check in with my station.
Yeah, let me check with them.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
I'll ask, I'll request the officer. It's Rochford. It's actually down here. Sorry?
Comments office?
Trying to find out.
The comments office. She wants to know that the comments should never be on because that's how we get in trouble all the time. Yeah, she said they're fine as long as the comments are off.
Okay.
Well, I asked for him.
Okay, can I ask or do you want to ask?
Go ahead.
I'm like,
I don't believe so, but I'll make sure right now. I'll double check right now.
Because that's how we always get in trouble.
sorry.
With the comments.
Well, they were saying that they didn't know we were streaming. It's the court caught and the judge. The judge didn't know that we were streaming. Okay, so the courtroom cop came over to the judge didn't know that we were streaming, and they put a sign on the door saying no streaming. I didn't see it, but that's what the cop told me. And I said, well, if it's a problem, I'll stop. I'll just gotta talk to people back at the station. So he went to go ask the judge. He said it's okay as long as the comments are off. Okay. Okay, then, yeah, there's no problem there. Thank you.
Sorry.
You're good. How was y'all's Christmas?
Hi,
Got engaged?
yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you. You?
Just spent a lot of time with family.
I work.
You work?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Day side.
Me too. Okay, so Christmas Day.
Yeah. I worked at the Riverwalk.
You're not, you're from,
Four.
no, but you're from.
Eleanor Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
I took off last week. Yeah, I took off last week. I got to go up there last week. So spent the whole week there. Celebrated Christmas on Saturday. And worked on Christmas this week. So yeah, it was alright.
At least you got to see your family.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. This is true.
Did y'all get any good gifts other than engagement ring?
I didn't really ask for much. I just got some money and a couple things here.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Could you please state your name?
Bella Garza?
And you are the defendant in this case, correct?
Yes.
Why are we here today?
For a horrific accident that was committed on March 23rd, 2022.
Okay. And we're here for what reason?
Intoxication, manslaughter.
And that accident was caused by who?
By me.
And as a result of that accident, what happened?
A life was taken.
Were you intoxicated on that day?
Yes.
Now, that day, you were at a bar. And you were there with who?
Two friends and Marcos Alvarado.
And who's Marcos Alvarado?
The father to my son.
You had a relationship with Marcos?
Yeah, but before he passed, I had known him for 8 years. So.
8 years? And while you were at the bar, you drank, correct?
Yes.
You had your son with you. Your son's name is what?
Dorian Alvarado.
But that was allowed in the bar, correct?
It was a family-friendly establishment.
Now, what happened between you and Marcos? Did something happen between you and Marcos that evening that affected your behavior?
Yes, it was routine.
What happened?
We would always get into arguments, domestic disputes.
Okay, what happened that day or that evening?
I was gonna go drop him off at home. We got into an argument. Usually when we would get into arguments, I would drop him off and then I would go to my mom's, spend the night over there.
So, was it a pretty aggressive argument?
I knew it would lead into,
You gotta speak up.
I knew it would lead into a physical altercation, so I decided to drop him off and then go somewhere else.
Okay, so you went somewhere else to like a friend's house? And do you recall being at that friend's house? What was your state of mind when you were there?
I was already intoxicated at that point, and I was angry. Usually when I get like that, I just want to drink until I fall asleep.
And so then when you left that location, were you driving home?
I wanted to go back to Marcos's apartment.
Is that where you were headed when you had the accident?
Yes.
And do you have any real recollection of the accident?
I remember losing control, and then my car flipped over. As far as me catching air going over the railroad tracks, I don't remember that. Me hitting somebody, I don't remember that.
You were not aware of what happened to the young man when you
No,
were at the scene?
no, because I would never do something like that intentionally.
So this was not something you did intentionally, obviously,
No.
but it was because you were intoxicated when you were driving. And so when did you first hear that you had hit someone who died?
In the hospital, when I asked the police officer why he was standing there.
And shortly after that, we heard the video. You stated, I believe I'm going to hell. Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah, because ever since I was little, I've always gone to church. So it's a sin to murder your neighbor.
How did you feel when you heard that someone had died from your accident?
It's a horrible feeling. I would never want to cause anything like that or put anybody in a situation like that.
Did you feel that from the moment you heard about this? Now, before the accident, describe to the judge your situation with depression. Were you feeling any mental issues before the accident?
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the day of the accident. I'm talking about the months and years before you had that accident.
I've always had depression and I've always drank and done all this other stuff to numb myself and just try to escape from everything that I was feeling.
And so you would take substances to try to escape?
Yeah.
Forget how you were feeling? How long has it been going on?
Since I can remember, I mean, I've been depressed for a very long time. Probably since I was like 7 years old. It was just never like titled as an issue that I have had. It's just once I started hanging out with certain individuals and they gave me something that I could like numb feelings. It was kind of like a gateway for me to escape from everything that I had been feeling for a very long time.
Did you get any medical help problem?
Yeah, in middle school they noticed something was wrong with me. So they would try to send me to all these psychiatrists, therapists, just to try to figure out what was wrong.
Did they diagnose you with anything?
They didn't really know what it was. I feel like they just titled depression as like something to just throw at me.
And were you taking any medication for that?
I would take hydroxyzine.
Was this when you were younger?
No. It was fluoxetine.
When you, and you would get other things to take afterwards that were not legal, correct?
When I was little and I would party, if people had other things, and yeah.
Now, following the accident, where did you live?
With my mom primarily, but I was back and forth between Marcos's apartment and my mom's house.
You lived in Marcos part of the time and stayed with Marcos part of the time?
Yes.
You and Marcos still had any issues?
Yeah, it was like once we had my son, having to live with somebody, you really get to know them. And we just had a lot of differences.
This was on your mind the night of the accident?
Yeah, it's always been on my mind.
Was that part of the reason why you were feeling you were having depression?
Yeah, because I had wanted to live a better life after I had my son. I wanted him to be sober, but we would argue all the time.
You wanted Marcos to be sober?
Mm-hmm.
He was not sober.
Yeah.
Did you try to separate from Marcos and separate to get away from his influence?
I did, but because I had already lived with him, I felt like moving out or going back to my mom's was like not really an option, even though I did. I just felt guilty for trying to break up something when I knew that it could probably be fixed.
Now, were you, I know that before the accident, were there times when you were employed?
Yes.
Where did you work?
I would sell cars at Texas Auto Save.
How long did you work there?
For a year.
A year? Was that, did you have any other jobs?
I worked at a restaurant for a little bit, like 6 months.
Did you have a dream or something that you wanted or wanted to do?
I was always passionate about being in the medical field
Medical?
because I care for others. I'm really good at caring for others. So.
And you say you're really good at caring for others. Give me some examples.
I can just tell, like, by looking at people, like if something's wrong, and I'll know like exactly what's wrong with them, and I know how to comfort them. So.
Had you, at some point, did you take some education to try to get into the health field?
Yeah, I went to a medical school.
When did you start going to the medical school?
It was last year.
Last year? And did you graduate?
I graduated in August of this year.
Of 2024? And did you work in the medical field at all?
Yes, I got a job for a neurologist. He did private practice. He would do sleep studies.
How did that go?
It was fun.
Was it fulfilling? Was it something that you felt you could do?
Yeah, it was a good job.
How long did it last?
It only lasted a month because I was coming to court frequently and they wanted someone that they knew would be there for a long time.
What is your plan in the future? Do you plan on being employed in the future?
Yeah, I miss being in the medical field. Like I really like it, so I really want to go back to it because I'm good at it.
So you like to work with children?
Love children.
Love children. And now you know that on that night of the accident, Dorian was in the car. You had that accident?
Yes.
You heard yourself on the video saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Why would you recall saying that?
Yes.
What were you saying? Why were you saying that you're sorry?
Because I knew what I had did was a very selfless act, and I was just scared that they would take my son.
Were you concerned about Dorian?
I was very concerned. I remember telling them to get him out of the car first.
Now, following the accident, you testified about hearing about the young man that died. How was your mental stability after this?
Not good.
Not good. What way not good? How did you feel about your life after the accident?
Initially, I didn't think it was fair because he was only 18. I wanted to trade places with him.
Do you still feel that way?
I try to get better because I have my son, and I thought that he would be okay without me, but I noticed that he can't be without me, so I tried for him. Right now my outlook is kind of like trying to succeed and be better for Emilian, and trying to do all these things so I don't waste my time out here.
Now, during the period of time, particularly the last, did there come a time in the pretrial in the last 30 months that you started abusing alcohol and drugs while you were on pretrial release?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you start drinking, did you use alcohol at some point while you were on pretrial release?
Yes, I did.
And why was that?
It came down to the realization that my court date was getting closer, and I didn't think that probation was an option for me.
So
I gave up.
you gave up? Now, you see the video that was posted. You know when that, you posted that video on Instagram, correct?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I have no answer.
Well, you could have posted it private, correct? And you posted it public, right? Which means that everybody could see it, right? So is that, and you knew that, correct?
Yes.
did you feel like, and you also, is it true that you posted that reset form that you written on? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Why did you post those things?
I just felt like everything was set in stone already. That I was going to prison. There was no other option.
And what happened in November? Did something happen in November that affected your emotion?
My son's dad passed away.
And when did you hear about that?
I was in jail when it happened, so the day after.
The day after that? And you heard that, at some point you heard that he was intoxicated, right? And that he had an accident and was killed. Right? And what was your reaction to that? The fact that he died just like the young man died?
I felt like it was my karma. It just makes me really sad that this situation has affected everybody so deeply. I wish it didn't happen to like either party at all. It's a horrible situation to go through. I don't know.
Did you feel differently about your life since Marcos died?
Yes. I've come to hate alcohol and drinking and driving in general.
And you recognize that you have a problem with alcohol and substances.
Yes.
And it's something you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Are you going to deal with it?
Yes, I plan to deal with it in every way possible.
Excuse me?
In every way possible.
Sure. What are you asking the judge for today?
I want to ask the judge for rehabilitation, another chance to be with my son and be a good mother, another chance at life so that I can continue to progress in the medical field like I would like to. I want to make my family proud. I don't want to disappoint them and just continue to go down the wrong path. I just want a chance to do better.
And do you think about the young man who died?
Every single day.
Is that going to affect you for the rest of your life?
For the rest of my life, yes.
How do you think that it's going to affect you?
I don't know. I mean, every time someone talks about him or brings him up, I break down. I shut down. It's not an easy thing to talk about. And it's not like it was just a little incident that happened with him, you know, like I think about his mom all the time. I pray for his family.
You'll do that for the rest of your life?
Councilman.
Garza, I'd like to talk about some of the last things you talked about first. Mr. Kimbrough asked you about that Instagram post that you showed to the court, and asked you why you posted it. Remember that?
Yes.
You said you didn't know. Right?
Right.
It wasn't the only post like that you posted over the summer, is it?
I don't know.
Well, if people have seen numerous stories of you partying during the day, you tell them they were wrong?
I don't know.
All right. But why didn't you think that probation was an option for you?
Whenever I would consult with my lawyers, they were like,
But that doesn't mean anything they said. Why didn't you think probation was an option for you?
because it was always an if answer, a probably answer, don't get your hopes up answer.
All right. Now, there's also some testimony from your mother and yourself earlier that earlier this year you started drinking while on pretrial release, right?
Yes,
There's also some testimony that you started taking alprazolam or Xanax while on pretrial release.
yes, for panic attacks.
Okay. And there was testimony that you did not have a prescription for that substance.
Yes.
Where did you get that Xanax?
I would get them from my son's father.
Okay. Anyone else? We've been getting any sense he is no longer with us?
Yeah.
So you get it now.
Wait, what?
Well, have you been using Xanax since his death?
No.
Where did you get it before you were on pretrial release?
The same person always. He introduced me to Xanax, so.
All right, so he was your only source of that drug. I want to talk about the night that this happened. Why were you at Bentley's that night?
Because he had got, my son's father had gotten off of work early, and usually he would work from 6 in the morning to 8 p.m. So I was excited, and we wanted to go somewhere and have a drink.
Who else was with you?
It was my son's father and his 2 friends,
What are those friends' names?
Aaron Miller and Sabrina.
Okay. And the judge has the surveillance videos from Bentley for those 4 hours. You can see everything that happened there with you. And the testimony from the ABC investigator is that you had 5 picklebacks and 3 beers. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay. And then at 8:48, or sometime thereabout, you left. Where did you go immediately from there?
To drop off my son's father at home.
Okay, where does he live?
102 West Rampart.
102 West Rampart?
Yes.
How far is that from Bentley's?
It's right in back of North Star and Bentley's. About 10 to 15 minutes.
How far is it from that intersection, 281 and Bassy Road?
8 minutes.
Okay. So did you ever get your son to Marcos, or did you dropped off Marcos?
I dropped off Marcos.
Okay. And then you kept Dory.
I kept going
Where did you and Dory go?
to my friend Eddie's house.
And at your friend Eddie's house, did you continue drinking?
Yes.
What were you drinking there?
I don't remember.
Did you use cocaine there?
No.
The cocaine metabolite that was in your blood, was that from that day?
Yes.
Where have you been using cocaine that day?
Bentley's.
In the bathroom?
Yes.
And you went into the bathroom on the video at just after 8. Did you use cocaine then?
I don't remember.
Did you have Dorian with you in the bathroom?
No.
Where'd you leave him?
He was in his stroller with his dad.
Your friend's Eddie's house. When did you leave there?
I don't remember.
Where did you go from Eddie's house?
From Eddie's, I think I tried to go back to Marcos's, and that's how I ended up on Bessie, because Eddie lived on Bandera.
Okay. Now, when you got in the car to go back to Marco's house, how did you secure Dorian? How did you restrain him?
And his car seat?
Yeah.
The top latch and then the bottom latch.
Was he able to get out of that on his own?
No.
Okay. Well, when first responders arrived at the scene of the wreck, which you saw on Officer Lyle's body cam,
Yeah.
Dorian was not restrained.
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor, I believe that that's not actually what the evidence shows.
It's okay, I can answer the question.
Why wasn't Dorian restrained?
Because I unbuckled him.
After the car was on its side.
Yes. I saw him hanging in his car seat because I was sideways and I unbuckled the car seat, the seatbelt.
Okay. And then he fell to the ground.
No. I grabbed him with this arm because this arm was messed up. Put him on the ground.
What injuries did you sustain?
A dislocated shoulder, a fractured chest, fractured spine, collapsed lung, level 6 concussion,
The shoulder?
and a busted open hand.
Which shoulder was fractured?
And this one.
Now you understand that in an accident like that, people die.
Yes.
And Dorian could have died.
Yes.
That's why earlier that you were scared that they would take Dorian. What do you mean by that?
CPS.
Why would CPS take Dorian after an accident?
Because no one's supposed to be drinking and driving with a baby in the car like that.
Puts the baby in danger.
Yes.
It's everything.
Yes.
If Dorian had died, Dwayne Deal, what would that have done?
Probably would have had suicidal thoughts.
Heartbreaking?
Yes.
Worst pain you can imagine?
Yes.
What if it had been somebody else driving who put your son's life in danger? Would you feel differently?
I would still feel sad if someone died.
Well, somebody else drove drunk and was responsible for your son's death. How would you feel?
Heartbroken.
Pain?
Full of pain, yes, like I am now.
Different than what you feel like.
Oh yeah, I mean, my son's father passed away, so
You didn't lose your son.
no.
Not like everyone.
No.
If that person were on trial, driving drunk and causing the death of your son, what would you ask the court to sentence them to?
I couldn't answer that because I'm in the situation right now. And I mean, I ask for forgiveness, I ask for all this stuff because I really do feel bad about it. But I know that she probably does not care, so.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Yeah, one question. Since Marcos died, have you been drinking?
No.
What's your attitude about drinking now?
I never want to drink again.
You have a drinking problem, right?
Yes.
You'll do whatever you can to deal with it.
Yes.
President.
Garza, I understand that the death of Marco is traumatic, of course. You told this court that you made the decision as a result of his death to stop drinking, right?
Yes.
Surely you made a similar promise after you killed someone.
Yeah, but having 2 deaths on your shoulders really makes you redirect life.
First death wasn't enough.
Yes, it was enough.
You drank again.
Yes, but depression and stress, it's hard to cope with stuff like that, especially when you don't have insurance and you're not properly medicated.
Depression and stress isn't going to go away if you're on probation.
It never will, but if I'm able to work, then I can get insurance and I can get medication. With the dedication that I have right now, I can.
If you can't, drink then?
No.
Very hard. No. No, you're not.
Do you quote the arrest?
Yes, I suppose.
If you can gather up the exhibits, I'm going to give you an opportunity to give a closing argument, and then I have to go review some of those exhibits. Do you want to do your closing now or after I review the exhibits?
Right now. Yes, all right.
State.
Stay right for the law.
Defense.
Your Honor, Felon Garza pled guilty and accepts responsibility for what happened today. And has affected her very, very tremendously. Now, you've looked at the point of the family that she's fundamentally a caring person, and there had nothing but good things to say. But as you heard from her and her mother, she's had an ongoing problem with depression, and she has fallen into the very bad habit of self-medicating with alcohol and things. She's clearly responsible, and she clearly has a problem. But she has no, beyond the minor possessions, there is no criminal record. She's never been before the court. She has a child, she's been employed, and she's been employed while she was on her trial. I believe that the behavior that she showed in October before Marcos' passing is a reflection of her depression and her basically giving up on her life. And the death of Marcos had an effect on her. I believe that it's an effect that could cause her that means that she is a candidate for probation. She can't succeed. Now, she feels remorse. She expressed that she's not a person that denies her responsibility. And she has a problem. She has a drinking problem. She has a psychological problem. She has an emotional problem. Everybody that comes to this court, almost, has a problem. And it's part of the court's job to take that into consideration from the point of view of what's best for society. Bella Garza will be, whether she gets prison time or not, she will be again on the street as an adult person with a child. The question is she going to get the rehabilitation that she needs so she can continue and function as a positive person? she will suffer and she will relive this incident for the rest of her life. And that will affect her. But I hope the court can consider the larger picture that there is something to be gained from her in the future. And so we're asking the court to grant her application for probation, to give her some possibility in the future, and to give her the structure and rehabilitation that she needs so she can succeed. I think that's the best way that this court can go forward with this tragedy. Thank you.
We're on this case because of the choices this defendant made for this record act. Her blood alcohol concentration was 0.152, well, twice the legal limit when her blood was taken 2 hours after the wreck at the hospital. She also has Xanax in her system, which apparently was free or consuming without a prescription. And I didn't know until today that she had been doing cocaine in the bathroom of the restaurant, and that was part of her intoxication. I guess that's why she was doing 51 and a third hot air while doing that, and then killed this young man, 18 years old, on the way back from work. And she says in this court that she feels remorse, and that she should feel remorse. What happened was awful. And the choices she made were awful. And I, honestly, am grateful in this case that authorities, this 17-month-old child who was in the car at the time, who walks away with scratches, is amazing. It's a miracle. It's incredible that she will never have to feel what Emily is feeling for 2 years. And will keep it for the rest of her life because of the choices this defendant made. And even if her remorse is genuine, which I believe that she feels terrible about this, she's not changing her ways. She's not keeping herself from drinking. She had 5 violations before this court was. The entire time, apparently, she was also doing alprazolam and Xanax without a prescription, committing a felony offense, possession of a dangerous drug, regularly, while on bond in this court, for becoming intoxicated, killing 18. She testified just now that she means this. Second death, your child's father is going to be the catalyst, the thing that will change. But killing someone wasn't enough. Endangering her own child wasn't enough. I don't believe that she has in her what she needs to change without facing serious consequences. That reason,
We're going to be in recess. If I can have the exhibits, I can go on together in my office. I have 1 through 23 minus 7. No 7.
DOB force.
Yeah.
There was some people, there was no communication.
Oh,
I
God.
tried to communicate with them, told people to negotiate it, have it all together, so everyone is on the same page. It's a DOB. And there's or floating, that'd be great, I'm still recording. That's what happens.
Yeah, but well,
And
he
then I get in
says,
trouble.
he had texted me, hi, this is Cody, I hope you guys are safe, so no to the planning and land practice, come to like, so sad, have you formatted your vote? Like, no. And so, I was like, thanks, but now I'm not gonna know.
Real quick, bouncer.
Adrian Garza, are you here? He's outside. Go get him. Go get him.
So ask them
Hey, can you just check with your web and see if there's streaming?
They killed it.
They killed it. This is called. Yeah. They killed it. Okay, I'm turning off the camera. That insert battery there in your sites right now. So 7. As of right now, we have a live deal.
It's not like
Are we still on?
I wrote an inquiry.
The inquiry deal.
for showrooms.
Yep, no,
I really sent the city through all email so nobody can be like, oh, I didn't know.
He didn't say how long you were doing.
No.
Yeah. Somebody else.
Yes.
En qué escucho?
He did, but I replied back. Is that okay? Obviously, here's hoping. I mean, it's 4:40 in there. So it just depends. Hopefully, it ends. And we can. We're gonna do the best with that, but yeah, definitely gonna need someone to edit it because we're fine. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, but if it ends, 15 minutes, that's fine, but definitely gonna need if you want to go ahead and get the video done, or whoever's available to get the video done. All right, thanks so much.
Let's step outside. No, that's okay. It's really okay. I can talk to you more.
No, I was just saying, I don't want anybody to be like, it could be better. And I'm like, I'm over here. And if you don't tell me that there's anything else you need me to do, just as you said, let me know if I can do anything else. I just need to. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm always like, I don't necessarily For the 5 and 6.
We'll have the original. Okay, good. I keep telling you. You want to take that one? Yeah.
Feel free to unplug it whenever, if you need to.
Okay.
Yeah, scissors.
Well, they told me that there was somebody there that was so bad. No, no, just. What did you say?
All right. You may be seated.
Let's go back on the record.
You know, this is the opposite, the rest of the board. Take it back.
We're back on the record. For purposes of the record, the exhibits that deal with the TABC investigation, which I believe is 2, 3, 4, they do play on my computer, but they abruptly stop and then you have to restart them. My recommendation to you all, especially if this case is appealed, is that you bring better copies on Monday that don't abruptly stop. They do play, they just abruptly stop. And you can enter those as exhibits 2A, 3A, and 4A. It's just, I don't know what would happen if this case is appealed and someone else is not able to do that. Is there any legal reason we cannot proceed to sentencing today?
No,
Ms. Garza, can you please stand for the imposition of sentence? All right. Ms. Garza, I accepted your plea of no contest to count 1, intoxication manslaughter, back on November 19, 2024. At that time, the state waived count 2 and they waived the deadly weapon allegation in this case. The state is also, as part of this open plea, is going to take into consideration 2023 CR 5510. I will need that dismissal. I have really deliberated on your case. I'm very familiar with you because of the violation of the pretrial bond conditions. And there are a lot of factors that I cannot overlook, that I cannot, despite all the mitigation evidence that your attorneys presented, still pose a threat to our community. You being on probation is me telling our community that you are to be trusted in our community. And not only did you break the trust of the court every time that you blew dirty into your portable device at home, but when you make the choice to drink and get in your car and drive. And so I have considered everything in the pre-sentence investigation report, testimony presented at trial. I will point out that on page 8 of your PSI, the reporter indicates that despite not having any current mental health symptoms, no current mental health symptoms, you are open to exploring talking to a therapist. And on the last page of your TAP evaluation, you reported being in good overall health with no physical medical issues requiring a physician at this time. So it's contradictory to what you told me on the stand. And there's no way to resolve that contradiction in your favor today. You're not getting hurt. I also thought about whether or not I would leave the issue of probation open to the next judge to have the possibility to reconsider your application. At that time, it would be an application for shock probation. And I'm not doing that either. I'm not doing that either. Having found the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt, I find you guilty of intoxication manslaughter. I'm going to sentence you to 12 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. You do get credit for the time that you have served in this case. I will make no other, I did make an affirmative finding that a deadly weapon was used in the commission of the crime. I don't need the state to affirmatively plead it, I do find it. Restitution in the amount of $1,490 payable to the Office of the Attorney General Victims Compensation Unit, case number 22182246. This is not a plea bargain case. This is open on the punishment issue, so you have the right to appeal my decision. Is there any legal reason why we cannot go into victim impact at this time? You're remanded to the custody of the sheriff to begin your sentence. Bring your victim impact statements forward, please. Yes.
I'm here today because of my son was taken from me in the most brutal, senseless way life. No parent can hold me more right. I not only lost my son, but I also life I once had. Every day since that night has been torture, a constant and relentless reminder of what your choices have done to my family. Who Emilion knows? Emilion was my pride, my joy, and the hope for the future. He was an 18-year-old about to graduate high school, earning college credits while going to high school. He worked hard to pay up chains, rode his bicycle home late at night, and dreamed of joining the Air Force in the military. He was a brother, a protector, and a role model. He adored his siblings, especially his younger brother Jacob. When I worked graveyard shifts, Emilion stepped up, he woke up Jacob, fed him, got him to school every day, drank the sleet or snow, and brought him home safe. Emilion was proud of his heritage and curious about the world. During the pandemic, he taught himself how to write and read in Chinese. Since that night you killed my son, my life has been a waking nightmare. You understand what it's like every day, where your first thought in your mind is that your child is gone? Not just gone, but taken in the most fucked up way. You didn't just kill Emilion, you shattered an entire family. His younger brother is filled with rage and anger and still gets in trouble in school. Holidays are no longer celebrations, they're battles. How am I supposed to celebrate my daughter Halo's birthday and the 6 days before the anniversary of you killing my son? And I just want you to know, when you killed my son, you knocked him out of his shoes. I didn't get to look at him and say, that's my son. You fucking mangled him so bad that I had to do a DNA to make sure that he was my son. I just want to hear this. This is where he's at. Where's your son at? Is he breathing? Right.
Stand for recess.
Get going.
Yeah.
All the best, sir.
Just wait for a little while until everything's happening.
Hey, just want to see if they could cut the screen before I get out of here.
Sure.
Yeah, they just, we're gonna get out and get ready for a live shot. I just want to make sure the web is done before I. Okay, thank you.
That's something I that's something I have pleasure to be on.
We gotta get out of here. Let's need to grab